I was 19 when I learned I was pregnant. It was just 2 months before I turned 20. It was somewhere around January 2013, the beginning of January, but I don't really know what day. There were several reasons I knew I did not want to continue the pregnancy. The most obvious is that I was simply wasn't ready. I adore babies and I want to have a whole boatload when it is the right time. But I was and still am just too young. The idea of having to have a baby and changing the track my life was already on, as I'm extremely irresponsible anyway. And another tiny factor in it all is that my mother is so strict, and just having her know that I was pregnant terrified me. I didn't even tell her about the abortion until about 7 months later. The thing that was going through my head the entire time since finding out I was pregnant up until getting the abortion was that I just wanted it to be over, and as if it all never happened, for things to return to normal. When I disclosed the fact that I had an abortion 7 months earlier to my mother, her reaction shocked me. The very first thing she said to me was that you're a stupid girl. Then, once she had got that out of her system, and she was the sweetest version of my mom I had ever seen. We have never really been that close, and yet she was so caring and wanted to make sure I was okay. The physical changes I had to deal with before the abortion were quite big, as I was almost 3 months pregnant at the time I found out. My stomach was definitely bigger, although I'm sure no one else would have noticed it except for me. My breasts were very sensitive and sore, and I had morning sickness sometimes. I also couldn't keep any kind of spicy food down. I also had serious food cravings for bad quality, super salty chicken broth. Post abortion, my body still hadn't returned to normal. My periods were completely messed up as I had a constant period for 7 months until I went to a doctor in Belgium and he checked me out. I absolutely did consider abortion immediately. I was almost 3 months pregnant when I found out that I was pregnant. I only told my very close friends about my pregnancy and about the fact that I was going to have it aborted. They were shocked and obviously extremely lovely, but they just did not understand. Even now, I don't really talk about it with them because I can just see they will never understand. I don't mean to say that they didn't back me 100% because they did. I only mean that they didn't understand the sheer pain. I absolutely agree that there is a pressing need for proper sex education. I'm a pretty smart person and I had sexual education in school and understood pretty much everything, the risk, etc. But there's one area in which they failed. I had taken the day after pill only a few hours after having sex. Understanding the day after pill was almost 100% effective. The nurse at the clinic where I found out I was pregnant then informed me that in fact was not that, and that was why I got pregnant. I really cannot remember the name, but I arranged an appointment at the clinic to go to a nearby hospital in Manchester for an ultrasound. This was to determine how far along I was and so to determine the type of abortion. The people at the clinic were very nice. They were very informative and helped me out a lot. My boyfriend did and did not support me throughout. I mean, he also was very young and scared and didn't know what to do. I understand that it was all new to him too, but sometimes he was just awful. He did look after me a lot and supported me, but there were times he just got fed up because it was such a heavy situation. It was very bad. I did not put up with him not putting up with me at all. I would scream at him and this and that. It was only months later, once things had slightly calmed down, that I realized he must have had a hard time too. I really wouldn't know whether pregnant teenagers have undergone peer pressure or not, as it simply wasn't like that for me. I also don't have any friends that I know of who have been pressured into sex, but I didn't grow up in England, so maybe it's different. Having an abortion was the single worst experience of my life. I don't regret having the abortion for 1 second. The thing I regret is getting pregnant. It was an extremely painful time for me, and in the end, it ruined my relationship and I had to retake a year of university. I'm genuinely happy right now and it feels amazing. It took my boyfriend breaking up with me for me to finally try to get over everything. It took a very long time for me to be happy. The abortion is something that will stay with me forever, and it does make me sad sometimes. I think in the end, after all of this, I will just say that it is very important for kids to learn that some contraception is more effective than others and for them not to risk it. Had we probably spoken a year ago, I would be probably drunk and crying to talk about this, but I'm okay now. Thanks.